But we're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
We're back.
Podcast back. All right.
No notes.
I would kill one of you. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Oh, just one?
In what? What? Say that again?
Hello, and welcome to Saving People, Queering Things, the supernatural podcast where we would totally sacrifice our siblings to enact the apocalypse. Today, we're pulling up to Season 5, Episode 19, Hammer of the God. I'm your host, Noah.
I'm August.
And I'm Sam.
And joining us today are two fantastic returning fan favorite guest stars, my beloved siblings, Hana and Theo.
Hello.
Yo, yo, yo.
Woohoo.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Did you guys want to do a quick little recap of your history with Supernatural for the fans who aren't familiar?
Amazing. I'm Hannah. They/all pronouns. I have been, sibling to Noah and Theo as long as they've been alive and best friends with August for almost a decade now. My entire experience and history with Supernatural is that I joined Tumblr and thought August was really cool and really wanted to be friends with them, and they were really into Supernatural. So I read all of the Wikipedia articles and watched none of the episodes.
Did
and
the normal choice.
The totally
and
normal thing.
just talked like I'd seen things, and nobody really realized I hadn't for 3 years, 5 years, a long time.
Really long time.
Too long.
It wasn't even an intentional, hey, I know I definitely watched this, just like I knew what was going on, and I did not.
We just never questioned. I just never questioned that you knew that you had seen it. Really?
You would say stuff like, "Oh, the way his eyes really looked at Cass right there." You know, you'd say stuff like
The
that, and-
Tumblr GIF sets really did too much
They
work
carried Hannah.
Yeah.
for too many
That
years.
was really it.
Shout out Tumblr GIF sets.
When I started this podcast, I think one of the first times I had actually asked you how many episodes you had actually seen, and I was
it was
astounded.
It was
It was
like
3,
yeah,
and this
Faith?
was 2 years. This was 2.5 years, not even just over 2 years ago.
I think it was on her
Yeah.
second appearance because you're like
Yeah.
Faith, the confession. Oh, and the one we did last
No.
season.
No, when we started Supernatural, I had seen the pilot,
Mhm.
Faith, and the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Wait. Like
sorry,
the end,
sorry.
like the
And
confession,
the confession
or like
scene.
And
Yeah.
the confession scene,
but
because
not
obviously.
the episode, just the scene.
Yeah.
okay.
I don't hate myself.
Good,
Yeah.
good job, good
Fair
call
enough.
right there.
Theo.
I'm Theo. I use any and all pronouns. I watched Supernatural up until I want to say the 8th season. It might have been 9. And then fell out of it because I could not continue grasping
Fair.
this.
Same.
I'm here for a monster of the week kind of deal, and that was not season 9 on. I was like, nah. So
Oh my god.
I also have kept up through Tumblr GIF sets.
The way all good once fans do.
Yeah.
I love that.
I know you've been here for, is this your 3rd episode, Theo?
2 and 2.
Fourth?
I think
Fourth?
fourth.
3rd? 4th? I don't remember what
Yeah,
season we
I
started
think
doing
it's more than
Sibling.
three.
I think I only missed one season, but I've been in
Right.
each season
Yeah.
except
Okay,
for one.
probably not season 1, but every season since.
Fair.
Yeah.
We'll make sure to iron out next season's pick before too long.
No worries.
No pressure.
I'm here to
Some
fill in.
strange options in season 6. I will say that. The quality is going to start to decline for a couple of seasons.
That's when it's
So,
more fun because I
Oh,
like
yeah.
when it's bad and I can talk to other people about it.
I mean,
How bad this episode is. Yeah.
There'll be a lot of that.
oh boy.
Well, now that you've met your host for today, it's time to catch you up. If you haven't watched Supernatural recently, here is what you've missed on the road so far. First up, Hannah is going to recap the show up to this point.
Just seeing that in the document.
I was
This is
confused when I
I
saw
think
that. I was like, do you mean Hannah?
Normally we are like, we would do we make someone who's seen the show recently do that. I think it's much funnier to do it with someone who
Hasn't.
Does
hasn't
not really
Has
count.
not.
not ever seen this season in its entirety. You have seen, again, 3 episodes from this season. 2? Have you seen?
The
You haven't seen
end?
Swan Song.
No.
I've seen 2. Yeah.
You've seen 2, including this one.
And I'd love to point out that the Wikipedia articles I mentioned reading weren't 9 years ago.
And it's so fair.
Wow, I'm not gonna know how current my Tumblr blog is, but that's not boosting a lot of Supernatural S5 either. Jesus.
I'll count you in. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Supernatural, a show about two brothers, Winchesters, and their car inherited from their piece of shit dad. But get this, there's hunters of the supernatural elements, and there's a bunch of others, including their mentor, Bob. Now, one of these supernatural elements is Castiel, the not yet gay angel that Dean is definitely already in love with. Welcome to season 5, where we've learned that Sam, cursed by a yellow-eyed angel demon at birth, is actually Lucifer's vessel, and Dean is Michael's vessel, and the apocalypse is coming. Who knows how it's going to unfurl?
Yes!
Wow,
Nailed
that's
that.
amazing.
Oh man.
Nailed that. 10 out of 10.
Edge
See,
of
this
my
is
seat.
why
Never
so we
would've
put you on these
guessed.
recaps because we know you're gonna come through.
Oh my
Jesus.
God.
If you ever want to be taken off of them, you have to start sucking at them more.
You really got to start letting us down.
I've got
Come on.
ADHD works so well under pressure.
I know, we know.
Conspiring.
No, I'm so impressed, honestly. And not to put any pressure on whoever's got to go next, but
That
now
could be.
it's Theo's turn to recap this week's episode. Are you ready, Theo?
Yeah, I prepped ahead because I'm bad at this.
Nice.
Prepping
Good
ahead
job.
is allowed.
It is allowed,
That's the
but
advantage of being a returning guest.
not required, clearly.
Not
Not required.
technically.
I didn't know I would have to do this, but I wrote it down in case I did.
I don't technically encourage people to like prep ahead, but some people have just started doing it, and I'm like, it's like me, like when I sometimes
ahead.
when kids do certain things, and I'll just be like, I didn't see that. I didn't see that you broke that rule. It didn't put you in danger, so I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see it.
I'm
You're
just
right.
glad to give you words rather than stuttering for 30 seconds straight.
Fair. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to count you in. 3, 2, 1.
This episode, the boys get lured into a trap of a hotel by godly forces. It turns out that they're there to be pawns for the gods of other religions. Turns out those other religions are real. Gabriel shows up, tries to seduce one of the gods. Doesn't work out. They all get caught up in a bunch of shit. Gabriel ends up dying at the hands of Lucifer, but not before he gets a porno into Dean's hands.
That's
Amazing.
So good.
Yeah, that was choice.
Yeah. Very
Phenomenal.
cohesive. Like you really got all those points.
10 out of 10. Very well done.
Bullet points.
Now that we're all caught up, it's time for us to pick some music to accompany us on our journey. Here's what we've got this week. August, did you want to go first?
Sure. Song I have this week is Do I Wanna Know by Arctic Monkeys. Just pulling from the vault for this one. 2013 for the Gabriel vibes of it all. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about that. It's a fun bop. Made me
Yeah,
listen to
go check
Arctic
it.
Monkeys again, which I haven't for probably at least 6
Yeah,
years.
I forgot
So
about them.
I loved that album back in 2013.
Fair.
Very good.
Sam, how about you?
My pick is Gods and Monsters by Lana Del Rey. Mostly for the title, honestly.
On the
Fitting.
nose.
Very on the nose. And then as I was listening to it, the very first verse says, "In the land of gods and monsters, I was an angel living in the garden of evil, screwed up, scared, doing anything that I needed." And it gave me Gabriel vibes.
Big Gabe vibes.
Hardcore.
That's a good pick for Gabe. That's good.
Hannah, how about you?
My pick is The Four Horsemen by Aphrodite's Child. Little on the nose for the end of the episode, but this is one of my favorite
Yes.
songs of 2023 so far, even though it's came out much earlier. Yeah, it's just a psychedelic rock song with this incredible reverb and goes over the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse just in this cycle that feels infinite and a little threatening, but a little peaceful. And I, could not resist assigning it to this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like a Bob.
Mm.
Theo, what about you?
So I have randomly selected Burn It All Down by League of Legends because it's a very like, oh, you want to play with fire, like we're gonna burn it down, like keep talking, keep laughing, one day you'll see what happens. All these people want fire, it's time they meet their dragon. That just feels very Lucifer in this episode compared to everyone else around him.
Damn. Yeah,
Good pick. Good
I
pick.
love that. I went with I Don't Know Shit by Jordy. It's a fun track, most importantly, because it's how I see Gabriel coming into this episode. The chorus talks about, I don't know shit. I just make it look like I do. I admit I'm trying, but I don't have a clue. I'm just faking it till I make it. So it's kind of how Gabe goes about, his missions. He's like trying. He's just trying to survive. That's it. And he doesn't. And that sucks. So a fun song for Gabriel.
Fitting.
got our mixtape playing. It's time for this week's hunt. Today we are exploring the 19th episode of season 5, Hammer of the Gods. And to jump us off in our conversation, we've got our tarot card this week. August, did you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the tarot card from the Supernatural Tarot deck this week is the Seven of Bones. This is from the card description. Seven of Bones indicates you're experiencing fierce competition. Perhaps you're battling a rival for a common goal, or perhaps someone in your life is envious of you and looking to usurp your position. This tarot card advises you to bear down and stand your ground. Perseverance and determination will help you come out on top, which I think is very interesting for this episode. The idea of like competition, the idea of like battling a rival for a common goal kind of stood out to me in the description. I'm thinking of all these kind of competing gods that are coming together for this one purpose, but there's also still all of this kind of conflict between them. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting thread to kind of track through the episode, I think.
Yeah, very fitting.
Well, then that brings us right into it. This week's main discussion. What do you guys think?
Who's got somewhere to start?
I mean, okay, the security guard at the beginning that gets killed, he was on psych. Did you guys catch
He
that?
Yeah,
was.
it was like exciting.
That's where I
Yes.
knew him from.
I had my head turned. I wasn't looking at the screen. I was putting away my laundry. Now I gotta go back and rewatch.
Well,
It's just the
usually, to
beginning
be
scene, so
fair,
it's okay.
usually the cold open, you don't need to watch. You just assume someone dies.
I don't.
And
And if there was
usually-
someone from sight.
You missed it. You missed it.
Yeah, cringe fail.
Sorry.
I really like I remember watching this episode the first time and being like, oh, this is so fun, like this is so cool. The second time around right now, I was like, oh, I remember what this episode is. I remember what happens here. And the fact of like not even that they set up this whole hotel, not even that there's like bright lights and that it's in a place of no, like not even all of this shit that they set up. It's that they set up 20 billion different pies because they knew that would get Dean to stay here. They knew. That's so funny to me. They were like, we need these boys. Let's serve pie. That'll have them staying here for a while. And they were right.
Mhm.
I mean, the lure of this place is perfect.
The temptation I had to make my song Hotel California by the Eagles unfathomable.
Yes.
So fair.
I feel like I think we have had someone use that one before for an
Well-
They have
episode.
a
Like,
Motel 666.
yeah.
Probably that
So,
one.
you know, you would have been in good company.
Good, they get it.
I do also appreciate, like, this is jumping way ahead in the episode, but I do appreciate that once everything goes sideways, Sam, in true younger sibling fashion, is immediately like, but I was right about this. Like, next time we don't do this, I was right.
Yeah.
I was right. Like, I just got to point it out.
Dean's like, yeah, next time we'll do that. Like, that's so sibling.
The sibling got it.
Mhm.
And as the eldest sibling of my siblings in the chat, I can confirm that was the tone of like, the next time this specific situation happens, it's sure. But the next time a similar situation happens, we're still going with what I think.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. As another older sibling, I'm like, well, you know, I'm like, sure. Okay. Yeah. Yep. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
You know,
Well, you know.
Livingston.
Eat bastardry.
You know. Which, okay, when you were talking about how you remembered what happened in this episode, and I also was watching this episode very excited because I was like, yeah, this is so cool. Setting up so many different religions and gods and so many different powers that may be, and so much potential out. And then Odin's gone just like that. Ganesh is gone just like that. And it's like, okay, so you didn't really want to set these up, huh? You just wanted to bring them in and eliminate them. And I'm betting not talk about most of them ever again, right? They don't come back to a lot of this.
No.
No.
This the lore in this episode, I will say, makes no fucking sense.
It's
Mm.
crazy.
In the,
It's
in the,
disappointing.
in the
The
lead
power
up to this
levels.
episode and after this episode. Like, the lead up is garbage.
Mm-hmm.
The lore is incoherent. Like, incoherent.
You can see just little dabbles of like, oh, I should take a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And then they like, it's like they vomited afterwards. This was not well thought out or eaten.
It's not a good combo.
I was like, hold up, there's a whole world of lore here. Like there were other gods and other
Oh,
religions.
yeah.
And there's like arguments about apocalypse, but what Lucifer had some line about forfeiting the world to the angels.
Oh, yes.
Like,
Okay.
ooh.
I wanted to talk about that too because it doesn't track. It doesn't actually track. That lore doesn't make any sense
Yeah.
with what we know about the world, this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it would
Yeah.
be great if that was the case. Like, I would be so fascinated if it was actually like a bunch of these gods, it was their world, and then it's basically been taken over and colonized. Like, that's an interesting potential lore piece that they
Super interesting.
have a very legitimate, like, but again, they don't misuse it. They bring these gods in for one episode, kill them all off.
Yeah,
So
missed
disappointing.
opportunity. I
Yeah.
will always be disappointed with that. Every time I watch this episode, I'm always like, oh, there was
It
so
hurts.
much there.
It feels disrespectful to them too. It's like,
Oh,
Yeah.
Hardcore.
They really just
absolutely.
use them for their like big names, but they don't really do anything with them at all.
nope.
And a lot of them are very cardboard cutout
Mhm.
stereotype
Not
of
anywhere
this.
near what they should be if they wanted an
Yeah.
accurate representation.
I somewhat disagree in that I thought it was a really interesting take. It reminded me a lot of like the American Gods show that came out a
Okay.
while back.
I've
Mhm.
heard these
The Neil
comparisons before, so
Gaiman.
I want to hear more about why you
Oh.
think that.
Haven't actually watched it.
Me either.
Me either.
I swear. I swear.
move on.
So no
But-
experts in the chat
You
then, I
should have
guess.
not revealed that until like 10 minutes into this conversation. That was much more effective.
Bro is a person, okay? Letting people know up front. I just in terms of takes of old gods that we regard as like myth or legend, right? Specifically thinking of like Odin or Balder and
Yeah.
or like
Holly.
the addition of Kali was, I feel like, kind of fucked up specifically in that Hinduism is an active and thriving religion. But
Yeah, it's
it did just remind me of like takes on old gods in the modern era and like what does that look like and what are their
Hmm.
relations with each other and what are the dynamics across that? How is it complicated by the modern era? There could have been Supernatural fucked up. There could have been a fascinating couple of seasons
Oh,
just
yeah.
based on that alone.
just exploring those
Yeah.
those
Mythologies
interpersonal
and
like
Yes.
connection.
and those
Literally.
like almost like mini battles and mini like those like conflicts between different
There's so much lore there
powers.
in each one, you know? It's like you could go for years.
Mhm.
And clearly they wanted to, but not with
Yeah,
that.
it just felt so like it didn't even feel like one, real stakes, or two, like real characters. I get that they're supposed to be gods, but like the lead up, the like
We need more time.
drive in, right? There's nothing
more
that's
time.
that's giving me any sort of connection to these characters other than, oh, they aren't just God, they're like other religion gods, which is so cool. And then they die, and I don't feel.
I like the team up, the fact that they're doing it like a team up to be
I love
like
that.
this apocalypse that
I-
God and Lucifer and Michael are on, like this apocalypse is fucked up, and if we collaborate, we can maybe stop it. Like that's super great. Love that.
Super cool.
I really liked the vibe of, and it reminds me of the Magnus Archives of like the
Mm.
Judeo-Christian apocalypse is coming, and we know that this is a Judeo-Christian like thing that can happen. This isn't our apocalypse,
Mhm.
but we know that this is a thing that can happen, and it's going to happen. So let's band up. Like I do really
And
love.
it sort of pits them as like it sort of pitches in the lore that like we've been maybe viewing it up to this point, like if there's a pyramid of power in terms of like powerful beings in the supernatural universe, that like God and Michael and Lucifer are kind of at the top of that, whereas this kind of proposes that like maybe that's not the case. And like I don't know that it executes it super well, but I think
No.
they could have done so much more with like actually making those. They could like some of these gods could have become allies to the Winchesters in the fight against Michael and Lucifer.
Easily. I'm not
If we'd
clear
spread it out.
how like the powers worked because they were talking about archangels with a sort of reverence for like in terms of respect for their powers, but also with the confidence that they could fight them. And one fucking archangel shows up and takes them out, no hesitation. The way that I was like this, I know we're just harping on the same concept of they really wasted this narrative possibility, but I really was like, this is not a clear schism of power or how this works or why this
No.
works. And I'd love to hear more
Yeah.
about how Gabriel fucked with y'all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like
Yeah, they
why-
didn't
How is he?
explain.
How are they? Yeah, they
Yeah.
are like they can't be both. They can't be simultaneously these ancient, powerful gods who once like were the power on Earth, and simultaneously be so much less powerful than one singular archangel.
Right.
Like you can't really have it both ways, and they kind of try to with it falling a little bit flat.
Well, and I feel like that's part of like I do feel like I could have written this better, but
That's a good energy. Keep bringing that energy.
but
Yes,
in
yeah.
terms of like giving Gabriel, I don't know if what I would have written for Gabriel in the future. I have no freaking clue. But this feels like they thought this is a good way for Gabriel to go out by like being part of this group and then them trying to use him to get his freaking what's it
Archangel
called?
Blade.
Archangel Blade, and then that not working, and then him coming back to like help, but too late, and they've all died, and then he dies. And that's still like it still doesn't make sense because why the hell? Gabriel coming in and saying you guys won't be able to win this sounds obviously like he's trying to protect himself, but once they know and he still says it anyway, you're like, oh, maybe they can't win this.
Yeah, and I feel like Gabriel's whole arc over the last couple of times since we found out he was Gabriel has been like this: will he stand up to his family? Like, will he stick? And I just wish we had gotten more of that before he's taken out. Like, I think in a lot of ways it's sort of not inevitable, but like if his arc is about being willing to stand up to his family, it makes sense that because he's not as powerful as like Michael or Lucifer, that he's not going to make it out of that.
Right.
But we don't get a lot. We basically get him going, yes, I'm going to stand up to them. And then he's immediately dead.
Immediately gone. That's it.
Crushing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like he does bring a lot to this episode though. I do really like up till that point.
Especially him sitting in the car outside when Dean walks outside. That's one of my favorite Gabriel scenes in the entire world. Where he's like, hey, Dean, like, don't look at me. Come over here.
Hey, get over here. Be cool.
The reluctant allyship between Gabriel and the Winchesters is just so funny because they're just so annoyed at each other at all times.
Constantly.
They just so don't want to be working together.
I just want to say that the vibe of Gabriel in the car being like, don't look at me, come over here, is exactly like we sound like trying to get each other to go meet each other outside to smoke weed. That's the exact, like, that is the exact energy. Don't look at me. Look at me. Meet me up outside. Don't sleep.
Hey.
Don't come now.
Like, don't acknowledge that I'm talking to you. Don't acknowledge that I'm saying this right now. But like,
and I'm being like, hey, I'm gonna go to bed. Okay, yeah, whatever. No, look at me. Look at me.
Look at me.
I'm going to bed.
and then surreptitiously looking, at the looking at your parents or looking at the other adults in the room and being like, hopefully they didn't see that.
Did you hear me?
Be cool, Click. Be cool. Be cool. Be cool.
Feeling sleepy?
Act natural.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
The number of times my father's been like, wow, you guys are all sleepy at the same time. We're like, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That's definitely not for any possible reason.
We love you, Father.
He's a real one. He chooses not to know.
Yeah.
You know what? And we love when that's the it's that thing. I didn't see you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see you.
Fact that I won't catch you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep it a little bit better hidden from your mother.
You adult children. I just want to make that really clear.
Yeah.
We're largely talking about adult children.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when I just get in my car and drive away. What are they gonna do?
Yeah, that's
Bye.
You're like, why am I still you turn around and you're like, why am I still hiding this? I'm a full ass adult.
It's called respect.
And fear
Sneaker
and anxiety.
It's more accurate.
What
Yeah.
is the fun of the Thanksgiving walk if you don't sneak out to the walk,
Real.
It's true.
You gotta
true.
gamify.
Yeah.
Gotta get that little bit of serotonin right there. That's just what Gabriel's doing. He's just fucking around. He's just trying to get that.
Gamifying apocalypse.
Yeah. I do like how at the end in the porno when Gabriel was like, you have to get all 4 rings to like do very like side quest giving language.
It was a side quest monologue.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I really like that Dean was immediately like, all right, so we have 2 of the 4, like we're half done with the side quest. We got it. Like that's such a mood.
He's
Just
such a
feeling-
gamer. He's like, nice. We were already exploring.
Halfway
We found half of
there.
it. We're nice.
Yeah.
That's a very, very Dean sort of thing to be like very excited about something. Like it's fun.
Scavenger hunt.
We have
collect
things like concrete things we can do. Let's go.
Yeah,
we could
concrete
do-
things that don't involve like not necessarily involve a lot of death. Like things that are just, we gotta collect some rings. Fuck yeah.
I feel like that's also the competitive side of Dean.
Oh,
Being
absolutely.
like, yeah, we're halfway there. Winning.
It's the
Weren't
ADHD
even-
side
didn't
of
even
Dean being like, we could write all 4 of those things down and check off 2 of them right now. This is great.
Yeah.
ADHD Dean is not a headcanon. Well, it's just right there in the text. Just so right there in the text.
Yeah. I so badly would have loved to see Gabriel becoming Loki. You know, like how did that come down? Like, is there a Loki out there who saw this happen and was like, that's pretty funny. I'll chill over here. You do that. Like,
right, like you're gonna pretend to be
where's
me?
the real Loki?
Yeah, like how did that go?
It's unclear, and I don't know that. I'm trying to remember from Future if we ever get, and I don't believe we ever get Loki.
A true Loki.
So either, I mean, Gabriel's also
Maybe
not
Gabriel
above
killed
just
him.
killing. Gabriel's not above like just killing other creatures.
Right.
Also
So it's
fair.
possible that Loki isn't, and Gabriel's just a secret.
I think it's also entirely possible that Gabriel is also just Loki, right? Like,
Okay, yes.
That's a real identity.
right? Like, if we're just going off of the time, like whenever the angels appeared, and what if he was just like, fuck this, I'm gonna dip around. These other gods crop up. They seem to think I'm one of them, and I am that.
Right. So he just creates the identity of Loki.
Yeah,
That's
Well,
actually
he already had that like trickster, like
that's his personality. Just to
That's
begin
his
with.
whole that's his whole thing. So it makes
That's
a lot of
his
sense for
ideal
him to just
version
be
of
like,
it.
oh, this is a trickster god. That's me.
Right. He's
Mhm.
like, I'm not an archangel actually because I don't fucking want to be.
Yeah.
This is what I am.
this one-eyed Norseman adopted me, so I guess I'm his now.
I guess I'm a
Bye.
Norse god.
Gonna
I
go
would
have
need-
kids, 6 legs.
Need me to go undercover as your
He's just
bride?
been
Let's do
role
it.
playing. He's just been real life role playing for
Yeah.
centuries. And he just became so attached to this character of his that he'd created that he just became that character.
I believe that.
It's
It's
only the
interesting.
apocalypse that pulled him back to like, no, you are
Yeah. I found it interesting. Maybe the Norse mythology is different in supernatural world, but the fact that Odin wasn't very like, oh, Loki, oh, hey, it's so good to see you, my son, whatever. Like, he was
Yeah.
just like, meh. And that could be just a
Well, they
dad
didn't
thing,
even
or that could
fucking
be like,
invite him.
I don't even know.
Like,
Yeah.
This guy just showed up one day. He's not my actual son.
He
I don't know
just
why
walked
he
into
keeps
my
saying
house.
He's just been lying about this for centuries, and I'm not pissed enough to correct anyone, but and also I'm a little afraid of him because
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Most of the other gods are all busy doing their own thing, but Loki would take the time and he'd be like, well, here, I'll stick around and tell you the story of what happened. So
Right.
Odin adopted me. Yeah, write this down. Yeah, okay, perfect. Loki's adopted by Odin. It'd be great.
Yeah.
History is written by the victors.
Odin's just there in the corner being like, I am not going to acknowledge this. I'm going to pretend we're estranged and I'm going to hope that
Yeah.
nobody asks follow-up questions that I don't want to answer.
At this point, it's been millennia, so
Nobody's asking anymore.
nope. Okay. I was watching this episode on a little sketchy website because Netflix kicked me off the account because they suck.
Mm.
And
Amen.
Real.
yeah, we're a very anti-Netflix podcast.
Fuck that shit.
At one point, I was just
Watch
watching.
Supernatural wherever your heart fan.
At one point, I was just going through the episode, and then it, which happens every once in a while on these iffy websites, and so I didn't think too much of it. And then I started recognizing the quote unquote ad that it switched to, and it was the Ghost Facers just popping in for a minute, and I'm like, oh, okay, wait,
And, okay.
was that part of the episode? That was
Yeah.
normal.
That's
Yeah.
a part of the episode. And I
Fully.
want to hear if any of you have thoughts on why it's there.
Okay, so I mean that's the Ghost Facer effect, right? Like the Ghost Facer effect.
Yeah. Do you want to remind
Okay.
Hana and Theo of the Ghost Facer effect?
Please do.
So the
Or
Ghost
explain it.
Facers first show up in an episode in season 2.
Yeah.
Where the whole episode is told as a found footage film from their perspective because they are ghost hunters, the show. And so they go around with cameras and then they run into the Winchesters, and the Winchesters spend the entire time saying fuck and shit, and they bleep it out because it's a network show in this reality. But fans have latched onto that effect and called it the Ghost Facer effect because are we seeing it through an extra edited lens where they take out all those cuss words? Instead of bleeping them, they change it for friggin'. I'm so friggin'.
Someone in the narrative is telling this story.
Someone's got to be. And at this point, the Ghost Facers flicking in as a little mistake there makes it feel like the Ghost Facers are the ones telling the story, right?
Mhm.
That's so wild.
It's so interesting because it changes the whole perspective of the narrative. It opens the door for one of my favorite fan theories, which is the Dean is trans the whole time theory. Where
Yep.
whenever he dies at the end of season 3 and comes back in season 4, he has the body of a man because Cass got to do a whole bunch of magical stuff.
Cass
because he's an
rebuilt
angel.
him from the Atoms Up, so
The
would
way
have been
that
able to.
Dean sees himself. So at that point, I mean, if we're telling it from a specific narrative, then that person at the end would have known this Dean. So I mean, it's very interesting.
There's so many things the Ghostfacers effect opens up in terms of like the breaking the fourth wall and like questioning who the narrative is and like why certain things are like told or omitted. Like
Because in their second appearance in season 3, they mentioned the writer's strike that happened. They're talking about like, yeah, like a writer's strike. That'd be crazy, huh? You know, making jokes like that. Extra meta. So it's very interesting that they show
always
Peter in an episode where they are not mentioned at all.
Yeah, and they're not like this. I believe, from my understanding, is that this commercial, like the Ghostfacers, was a web series on the CW's website at this point. And this is just, as far as I know and can tell from like my research, this was just a promo. Like this is just a way of promoting the Ghostfacers web series, which, like, if you haven't seen it, it's very funny. It's very goofy. There's just a handful of episodes, and you can find most of them, I believe, on YouTube. Okay. But that, I think it was just promo for that. But like, because of where they chose to put it in this kind of an episode, it just like, remember, you're still in the narrative. Remember, you still can't escape whoever is telling this story. Like the choice to put it in the middle of the episode as opposed to like at the end or after the credits or something that would have been a little more any other place.
It felt like watching it. I fully do not remember the Ghostfacers episode in season 2, but
it's the Tulsa episode. It's an interesting one too, because it's one where they meet a monster that is created and changed based on people believing it.
I do remember like specifics, but not the whole overarching. Yeah. But watching it, like in this episode, it felt like it could have been put at a point where it felt like, oh, we're watching TV in this hotel, you know, whatever. But they didn't put it there. So I was fully just like, are they back in their room watching TV? And then the next scene, they're like dragged out again. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
I thought they were saying the Ghostfacers are going to come rescue them. And I was like, that's the biggest plot twist of this episode.
When the first time I watched it, that's what I was like too. I was like, oh, are they all of a sudden going to just show up being ridiculous and try to save them from these gods?
When I rewatched this, I fully had like forgotten, because again, it's such a random like 20-second clip. I forgot.
And they don't explain it. They just move on.
I was waiting because I was like, do I genuinely just not remember the explanation? Do I not remember how they tied this in? And then they just straight up don't. They totally leave it up to your own interpretation, which is a wild choice. But I'm always here for more Ghost.
It would have been so great because in this situation, the boys are just sitting there in this room where this debate is going on around them, and it's so obvious that they are out of their element. They are above their pay grade. They cannot handle. Like they're like, okay, so we can just go, right? Because clearly this is above us. But the Ghostfacers are a level below that to the boys, you know? Like, so they are out of their level when the brothers are talking about the apocalypse and all of that. So it would have been so great to see them come in and just be extra oblivious to everything and then end up saving the day. That would have been so great.
Been incredible if they had been some of the people who had been drawn in by this like alluring motel, because
they're just randomly in the fridge.
They would have been the kind of people that would have picked up on those cues.
Totally.
Like
but not smart enough to not end up in the fridge.
Yeah. Truly the Ghostfacers.
Missed opportunities left and right. I did love seeing Dean's evolution on trusting Gabriel. You know, he finds out Gabriel's alive and he instantly comes back and, okay, you know what? He's alive. He's fine. It's all a trick. I'm done with getting tricked by this guy. I swear.
Yeah. Their whole history with Gabriel is Gabriel like fucking with them, like killing Dean 100 times in Mystery Spot, and like pretending to die, pretending to have them kill him multiple times. So they're like very used to his fake out death.
Yeah, it's unsurprising.
Yeah.
But this time they were a little relieved that he's not dead as opposed to previous times.
Yeah.
Like, oh, thank goodness. And then he's not faking this time.
Yeah.
Well, because it's Lucifer. This is not
not somebody who will be tricked.
Yeah.
Lucifer knows how to kill an angel.
Bringing Lucifer back in, like, it's been a couple episodes since we've seen Lucifer. He kind of like is at the fringes of this whole season, where you're just like appears various times just to remind you that he can. And yeah, I think it was a good, interesting choice to have like one of the gods basically call him and basically be like, yeah, what's happening here is getting kind of wild.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you in and like let you do what you want to do.
See, that, like, on one hand, that's a smart move. On the other hand, that's a dumb move.
Oh, so dumb.
If I was gonna do that, I'd be like, hey, like, Lucifer, come to this area, and then I'd leave. You know, I wouldn't be in the
Absolutely.
area with the people who want to kill this guy when I call him there. Come
Well,
on.
also, do you think that like if you're wrong and Lucifer's stronger than you think and you can't kill him, he's probably going to kill all of you?
Right.
And he, like, do you like think you're going to get points? Lucifer notoriously
Does
hates
not care.
everyone who is not an art like God or that's basically it.
Right. Like, that's so dumb to call him and then stay there.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Bounce immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Give him the address and then be far away by the time he gets there.
Exactly.
Do very much love Gabriel saying, "You're my brother and I love you, but you are a great big bag of dicks." So good.
This interaction is so funny.
It's very sibling.
I've been there, yeah.
Yeah.
It is very sibling. And also thinking about the conversation that they have and thinking back to just like Gabriel and how he interacts with life, in that he just really doesn't want to be an archangel. He doesn't want to be a part of the family. He has been running for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when Lucifer's like, well, where's your loyalty? And he's like, I am loyal. I'm loyal to the humans.
Oh, it's so wholesome. He's our champion,
and
fighting for
you know,
us.
that's also Cass vibes.
Such big Cass vibes. To be like, actually, God's left the building. Lucifer and Michael are fighting and they want to torch the planet. To be like, you know what? Change my allegiance.
Actually, I'm on their side.
Actually, they don't deserve to get their planet torched.
Yeah.
So true.
Such big Cass vibes. For totally different reasons than Cass.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. Maybe Gabriel has a human he fell in love with somewhere.
I mean, yeah.
Probably many.
Probably many, but you know, maybe one of them really connected. I don't know. I want him to
Also
come
Dean.
back so bad. It's fine.
It really does hurt, like, Lucifer realizing that Gabriel's behind him and turning around and being like, don't forget everything you learned from me, little brother, as he kills him. Like, that shoots me. That kills me.
It's the no one makes us do anything right before that is like him being like, hey, I feel like you know what I'm about to do, but like you have to realize that you don't have to do what you're about to do.
Yeah.
It hurts.
It's I like, also Gabriel calls it a temper tantrum, and like he says, you know, like he says these really interesting things. He's like, Dad loved you best, everyone knew it, but then Dad brought the new baby home, which apparently is a metaphor for humanity.
Oh, I was like, is that Cass or is that humans? What
It's
is
a metaphor
happening?
for humans.
Okay.
Dad created the universe and you didn't like it.
I love that Lucifer tried to be like, oh wow, so you're taking Michael's side. I get it. He's like, no, I'd shiv his ass too. Straight up. Bring him here too.
I don't like either of you.
Y'all both suck. God damn it.
Well,
Listen to what I'm
you know,
saying.
what's Gabriel's opinion on God? Probably not great.
No, probably not.
It's interesting that like one of the things that Gabriel says, he says a lot of them, meaning the humans, try to do better, to forgive. I think forgive is such an interesting that's what he identifies about humans, is like the ability to forgive, which is I don't know quite what I think about that.
I feel like that's because angels operate by protocols, right? So as soon as someone breaks a rule, they are like they are a criminal. They are either just and fair or they are condemned, you know? So I don't know. I feel like he can't grasp
That's
the
good.
concept of somewhere in the middle or being able to switch sides back after you've broken a rule of trust, you know?
I don't know where this falls in theology or where I'm pulling it from, but there is, right, like theological concepts around angels from Christian tradition that, right, they had the choice to fall with Lucifer or stay with God. And it was a once and done thing, and that angels do not have access to forgiveness from God. So I think there's also something to the like aspect just from, I guess, my tradition, or like what I was raised in, of the fallibility and the ability to have second chances of human is what is intoxicating to like angel narratives. And it's something that I've always appreciated in any sort of like angel canon, is we had a once and done chance. It is black and white. It is a 0 or a 1. You fell or you didn't. you follow the rule or you don't. And the ability of humans to just mess up over and over and over and over again and still have access to each other's forgiveness and also like divine forgiveness is, I have to imagine, intoxicating.
Yeah, huge.
The ideal of like an angel has the capacity to be perfect in a way that humans don't, but yet humans have this capacity for forgiveness and grace and change that angels don't.
Right.
And like you think about like both Cass and Anna, who have been disciplined by heaven last season and this season for not following orders or rules. Like Cass is currently cut off from many of heaven's powers because he is fucking up the rules. Such a, like kind of like you said, like black and white, which is, I wonder if Gabriel, like more than falling in love with a human, I wonder if it's more about those like concepts of freedom and like choice that are more important to him.
Yeah.
I also thought it was really interesting pairing Gabriel with Kali and like them having a history. Yeah. My understanding of Kali is pretty nebulous, right? As a white American who's not participated in Hinduism, but like my understanding of her is she is a very violent god and one who like exacts maybe not revenge but like retribution, but is also very just. And so this sort of like, I just wish that I knew more about her and her position in theology and like her position in culture and understanding, because I thought that was such a cool pairing.
Yeah, I wish we had gotten more Callie. Callie is funny because that like shows up in fanfic pairings quite often with Gabriel. So I feel like I've gotten more of some of like her potential character fleshed out in some fanfic that's exploring their relationship, but I wish we'd gotten more of that or flashbacks or something in the show. And we really now don't have an opportunity to get any more of that.
I do like the taking ownership of like, if anyone gets to end this world, it's me. That's so powerful. Yes, honestly, Queen. It's all for you. You can do it.
You got this. I believe in you.
Yeah.
Kick ass. The firearms are pretty cool. I was a little disappointed that they didn't do like multiple.
Another wasted opportunity this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, like make these gods more powerful. Give them interesting give us interesting visuals as the audience for their powers.
Right.
Or at least just give them some abilities, like something.
Yeah. Right. They're masquerading as humans, but like they're not human. So like make sure that we can't forget that they're not human.
Right.
Yeah.
I do think it's really funny that Callie has the moment with Dean where he tries to hit on her and she's like, no. And then he tries again and she's like, absolutely the fuck no.
I understand what you're saying. Still no.
And then he walks away.
I think it's very, when Gabriel comes in and he's talking about how he is like involved with Cully and he's like, it's all hands. And Dean is like, dude. And I'm like, Dean, you would make that comment if you were the one like dating her. I don't understand where the disconnect for this is.
Yeah.
What?
He being like all of a sudden like, oh, how dare you?
All of a sudden judgy about how people talk about their dates as if like, come on.
As if he had to do this very episode.
Yeah.
Do similar comments in a similar vein. Also as if he isn't into some of his own pretty kinky stuff, like which we've gotten many references to. Like if that's the thing, if it's like you're like, whoa, no, you've said kinkier things.
Yeah, come on, my guy.
We know what you're into. We know you like being thrown around a little bit.
Or a lot of it.
Or a lot of it.
It's also such a big Gabriel mood to hide the secrets to their success in a porno.
Yeah.
That he made.
Oh, the most Gabriel move ever.
He knew that they were going to watch that. He knew they had to.
It's the, oh, please stop sobbing. It's
Dean
embarrassing for all of us.
Yes.
That really kills me.
Yeah.
That's why he gave it to Dean and not Sam.
Yeah. He had to make sure they would see it.
Yep.
Yeah. The way he refers to Michael and the God Squad really, really triggered some deep memories from Bible study fellowship with me and my siblings. Because we did a little activity called homiletics, which is where you would have to take a big section of passage and like break it down and whatnot. And Hannah Beth at one point used a slang term that grew very popular in our little group to refer to Jesus and his little disciples. And so that
Hannah
really
like
popped
visibly
up.
remembering this as
Hannah
Noah's
was so confused until I
God.
said a slang term for Jesus. Okay. This really, Michael and the God Squad really triggered because JC and the Posse is what Hannah called.
JC and the Posse!
JC and the Posse. So
It hated
it started
me.
with Hannah and then it's
really? That's like iconic though. That's
Yeah.
genius level.
Truly
So
genius.
good. So good.
AC and the posse.
Yeah. So that's
That's
it was
amazing.
very fitting
Michael and the
that
God
happened in this
Squad.
episode. And we had you guys here for this episode. Perfect.
There's a lot of like, just on that note, a lot of like fun pop culture references.
There was a lot.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I'm looking at like full on Babar.
Full
Like
Babar
oh.
got me.
This is
Children,
like the
like,
fourth
this is
time
like
they've mentioned Babar. It's
What?
so
also,
great.
just
Yeah, they really
adding to my like Dean makes children's media reference list, which is like my favorite kind of pop culture reference that like Dean makes, is he references like children's media, and I always think it's really funny. He's like referenced Mr. Rogers. He's referenced various different
Sesame
things.
Street.
Sesame Street. Yeah, it's fun. Babar adds to that. Also, there's an I Love Lucy reference in this, also from Gabriel, who is also like one of our iconic pop culture reference kings. R.I.P.
They
Oh, rip.
also reference Psycho. They
Yeah.
refer to Norman Bates, and the
Oh my
only other
God,
time
yeah.
that's been referenced so far was in
Mhm.
the Ghost Facers episode. So there's just another
Ooh.
connection.
Hmm.
He also mentioned when he's trying to threaten Gabriel,
Yeah.
well, what if we tell the Legion of Doom about your secret identity?
I did pull. I was like, that's a very good pull, actually.
It's good.
Yeah.
Good.
There's some small pulls. There's also like an Avatar reference. James Cameron Avatar. Like early.
I
in the
was
episode.
wondering
I don't-
if that's what that
I don't
was. He
think it
said,
is,
let's go to
though.
Pandora. And I was like,
it's either that or it's a Pandora's box reference.
Right.
It could be either.
But isn't that like, I feel like that's a paradise, like
Okay, my argument for why I think it is potentially a reference, like more likely a reference actually to the movie, is that the movie came out like right before this episode did. Like it's within a year of each other. That came out in 2009. This would have been early 2010.
right. So he's being with the times.
It's the writers being flexing a little bit very current pop culture things.
I think the funniest thing about James Cameron's Avatar franchise is that
Yeah.
it's one of the highest grossing movies of all time.
Oh yeah.
And you're out here actively debating, like, would they really have referenced that? And wasn't it a relatable reference?
To
and I
this
guarantee
day.
audiences at the time were thinking the same goddamn thing.
To this day, I have not seen either of the Avatar movies. I categorically
too.
refuse.
Same.
But yet I know
Yeah,
so
same.
much about Avatar, against my knowledge, all of it.
There's not that much to know.
it's
just all bad.
Pocahontas. It's a worse version of Pocahontas.
It's-
Yeah.
Listen,
God.
Colonial bullshit.
all I know about the
Blue
second
people.
one is that we turned on the trailer once and Jubilee took one look at it and said, what are those? No, turn it off. No, turn it off, turn it off.
That's
Queen.
awesome.
Jubilee Queen.
I was
That's
like,
right,
yes,
Jubilee.
ma'am.
That's correct.
You got it.
There's also a reference, like the hotel is called the Elysian Fields Hotel, which is obviously like Greek afterlife, which again is like, I like that it's another like mythology sort of reference.
Yeah.
Right. A sort
There's-
of reference that if Dean was paying attention, he'd think about.
Yep.
Oh, there's so many clues.
Yeah.
They get real
So
drawn
many
in.
clues.
So many. Sam was on top of it like
But
most
not
of
on
the
top
time.
of it enough that they
Not on top of it
don't
enough
know.
to not let them stop, but on
Right.
top of it enough to walk in and be like, oh.
But do you think that there was also probably some sort of like spell happening to also
mean,
draw them in?
I think the whole
on top
hotel
of
is a
the like
spell.
things. Yeah.
The whole hotel is
Like maybe they
an actual
didn't. They
motel.
wouldn't have been able to resist even if they had noticed.
Right. Well, and Sam talks about like there's that blocking on I-90. Like there is like
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of setup that
Which-
specifically went into the Winchesters getting here, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
then they don't really do much with them. They're just there to be bargaining chips,
Well,
and then
but they
Lucifer
don't
shows
know-
up and kills everyone.
they make
Yeah,
no
why are
concrete
they
plan.
there?
They're like, we'll get the Winchesters and then
Then we'll talk about
figure
the
it
plan.
out.
Something
Like-
will happen.
like you didn't decide whether you were gonna like use them as bargaining chips or if you were gonna like how you were gonna use them to screw over Michael and Lucifer. You just were like, if we have them, that'll help us.
Sure. Yeah.
Not the
Much.
most well contrived plan.
But honestly, no one in this fucking apocalypse knows how to plan. Everyone does
No.
things the worst possible way.
Except for Lucifer.
Well,
I mean, he got it started.
that's true. That's true. But he hasn't
Yeah.
been able to like do jack shit since he got raised, other than get a vessel that's falling apart.
Yep.
Right. Although that vessel did look so sexy when he was standing in that hallway covered in
No,
blood and the
you
lights
did
flickered
not-
out.
You did
Hey,
not just
hey,
call my
Theo,
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 sexy.
no.
wait,
No,
Theo.
absolutely the fuck
Theo,
no.
Let me tell you, you gotta hold
What?
every thought about him back because I get it.
No.
I'm right there with you. I agree. But Mark
I hate this
Pellegrino is a
so
shithead and we can't talk about him on
Listen,
the podcast.
Terrible.
He is a
looks
shithead.
fine
He
as
is a
hell, though.
head.
with all those little
That,
markings.
listen, the rest of the episode, I don't care about him.
Oh no, Theo's right.
That one shot where he's covered in blood and the lights flicker out, he's sexy. That's
No.
all I have
He
to say
is.
about him.
You're
That's all I
right.
have to say. The rest of the time, he's not
And they
sexy, and
knew
I'm
that.
okay with that.
I would love to go back to Magnus Archives. Lucifer looks like he met Jane Prentice, and I
And-
respect that for him.
Yes. Yes. It's literally that one scene, and then I'm like, oh, I don't care about him again. Like,
No, he's still sexy. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, okay,
It's
yeah.
okay.
Sorry, Theo. I covered in blood is extra sexy. Yeah,
I'm
but
a
he
lesbian.
is-
If somebody's covered in blood, I'm on.
I'm a lesbian, so I'm just attracted to blood. You're a
Sam is
vampire.
sitting there being
Yes.
like, no. Also,
Yeah,
have you seen blood?
let me just
speak for the other lesbians in the room.
let me speak for the other lesbians in the room. Absolutely fucking not. Ew. No. What?
Bastard
Not-
opinion.
Not
As
Mark
a, as a
Pellegrino.
dyke in the room, being covered in blood automatically makes you sexy.
As a
Thing.
dyke,
Okay, but not if you're a man.
Yes,
sometimes it can
sorry.
be. I can still find men sexy. I'm a dyke hardcore, and
Fair.
Lucifer can
Okay,
still be
fair.
sexy for 1 second. All right, 1 second.
I am too
All
ace
right.
for this. Too ace. I'm not that like fully.
You're not-
I'm not that.
no. But I'm not written fan fiction role play with you.
Mm.
You don't get to say jack shit about people being covered in blood not being sexy.
This is
No, I'm
great
not saying
podcast
that.
material right
I'm
here.
just
I
saying
love this.
he isn't. I'm just saying he
All
isn't.
right, all right.
I'm not saying
He's
that
not
someone covered in
fully.
blood is not
No, we
sexy.
all
'cause that I
agree.
would be a bald-faced
Being
lie.
covered in blood
We
is
all
sexy.
agree that 1 second is sexy. Yes.
No, that's not what
Oh.
we're agreeing to.
Got him. We
No.
got him.
We win, boys.
Quality podcast content.
Sorry,
I did
please
not see us
continue.
going here.
In
Last
this
time we did
lighting
a
covered in
sibling
blood.
episode, didn't we derail with like a 30-minute conversation about Ryan Reynolds?
Yes, you
I think
did.
so.
You did.
It was-
Oh my God.
yeah.
Why we have you on.
That was still classic. I love
It was great. It was great. We came up with a whole hit to him for a podcast, didn't we? Was that last time? I think that was.
Oh my god.
That's right. I forgot about that. It didn't make it into the episode, I don't think.
I do want to talk about Sam's face as soon as Dean starts like comes back in and is like, all right, we're gonna help you kill Lucifer, and Sam's like
Sam's like, with what plan?
and Dean's like, it's okay, like I'm out of options, like we're just and Sam's like
Sam's like, you're neglecting to mention that we have no concrete way to kill Lucifer.
he's like, you're talking bullshit and I'm right here. I'm about to die because my older brother is saying things face is very spot on.
Very good.
Also, big sibling mood of like,
Yeah.
we didn't discuss this before
You're just saying
we started
things?
talking.
Come on, man.
Consult me first.
You didn't even want to try on that one, huh?
It's like when
Thanks.
it's like when your sibling decides to like confess to something to your parents and you're like, we didn't talk about this plan
So fucking
before
real.
you started
The problem
talking.
is whenever the sibling decides to confess to part of it, but not the full thing, and you don't communicate that before you start talking, you know? Because sometimes you start talking about, well, okay, no. I want to
You're
tell
like,
them
I'll
about
help.
this
And then
little
it's,
part.
yeah.
Oh, yes. And then once we got back to the party, sorry, what party? I didn't,
Like, oh fuck.
you know, like the D&D party, like the group of people that,
Like, let out.
They're playing.
how far back did we go? Okay. Oh, okay.
You're like, which
What's D&D?
part?
Okay,
Can
yeah,
you
cool,
can
cool.
you just catch me up quick on like what you've already told them?
Recap
quickly?
the first half of the story for me real quick.
Sorry, go
because
through it again. I
Do I
forgot
know
the whole story.
details that I'm
Not-
allowed to say?
I think I got it, but just in case, say it all
Say
over
it all
again.
over
one more
again,
time.
I wasn't
listening.
I also have another point that I wanted to talk about, which was when Dean's in the car talking to Gabriel, and Dean, again, this is another time where Dean like does something, and I'm like, wow, you're so obviously being hypocritical and you don't know it and you refuse to accept it. When
Constantly.
he's like, Gabriel, you won't kill your brother to stop the apocalypse.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like,
oh yeah.
my guy
You're like things Dean Winchester will not do.
will not do is
Under-
kill your brother to stop the apocalypse.
Things
Like,
you should not do. Shame someone else for not being able to do that.
Are you like
Start-
projecting? So much projection.
The
There's so much-
disconnection in his head is insane.
He's like, it's not okay if I am being asked to kill my brother, but if you are, then obviously
Do
it
it.
should be fine because your brother is Lucifer.
So earlier on in our recording, Theo basically confirmed that she would absolutely throw Hannah or I into a fire in order to stop the apocalypse.
Depends on which apocalypse.
Okay, Judeo-Christian.
Which
So-
apocalypse?
Yeah, exactly. Which apocalypses hit the criteria? And and which ones don't.
Which ones would you not sacrifice?
Zombie apocalypse.
Zombie apocalypse, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm gonna survive that. We're gonna survive that anyway. I don't need to stop that. Like,
if you sacrifice us for a zombie
energy.
apocalypse, I'm gonna be so disappointed in you.
Like, you could kill me if it's a zombie apocalypse. That
we
I'm
work
not
as a
doing
team,
that.
We make a society. We got this.
Right.
We've seen all this
Okay,
shit.
But if it's like, I can't even think of a
cyber apocalypse, like
Like-
robot uprising.
cyberpocalypse. We
AI.
live like Mitchell's versus the machines. That would be no problem.
Cyber apocalypse. We are fucking the robot.
Yes, duh. Me and my vibrator are going against the world.
Easy peasy.
Cyber apocalypse does not seem that threatening, honestly.
It's literally Mitchell's versus the
we just-
machines
And-
is about the
Exactly.
power of
Already
family
happening.
against
I
machines.
think that's the sign that
Exactly.
it's already happening right now. Is that it's that doesn't seem threatening. Let's let that one
You know,
happen.
I feel like we can work around that. I feel like
But
some robots might want to kill us, but also others might want to other
Exactly.
things with us.
Okay,
I'm
so-
also a person
Fine.
that's kind to my robots, so I don't feel like I'm in terrible danger, and I'm okay working for robots. So I
Right.
feel like I'm okay.
We
Fair
can
enough.
work out some societal.
Right.
We can work out a society where we're all successful.
Right.
Okay, then what apocalypse are you going to throw them under the bus for?
If it were, and you're gonna hate me for saying this, if it were a Homestuck style apocalypse, I would sacrifice you guys.
Please take
Immediately.
me
Well,
out.
thank you. You're saving us.
I've
Yeah.
done none of
not.
the work.
Listen, Homestuck Apocalypse is 1, the most fun, 2, the most devastating, 3, the most dangerous. I
Yeah.
think if there is a possibility to stop any of that from happening, from suburb to, from being opened, I would kill one of you. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
In what? What? Say that
Oh,
again?
just one?
Suburb is the name of the game that they open at the start of Homestuck, which starts the apocalypse that rains asteroids on the world, and they all die unless they get through a portal that they have to make in 30 minutes. It's pretty
Okay,
bad.
so that seems
Oh.
like a reasonable like.
There's like imps and goblins, and then you're teleported
So-
to another. Yeah.
Though
it's a
my
lot.
question always with those sorts of apocalypses,
Split.
yeah. The my thing
But-
with all those kind of apocalypses is like you don't have a really great justification for like sacrificing someone else versus sacrificing yourself.
Right.
So it always feels a little like I'm like,
Well,
okay,
in this case, I'm the only one who knows Homestuck, so you fuckers are gonna have to die.
We're done
But-
for.
I accept that.
that's fair.
The good thing is
honestly.
that if one of you die and I fail to actually stop it, then I can put your dead body in my sprite, and then you can be one of the like directional sprites that helps me through the game. So
I get you can
So problem
so you can
solved.
put me in a bottle and I can be a
no, you become like a fully formed like being.
because I
sprite.
first thought you said you would put me into a bottle of Sprite.
That's definitely
I
what
thought
I
that
heard.
too.
100%. I was like, cool,
that's-
McDonald's Sprite.
I
That's
was
me.
like, that works? That's a plot point of this story? I know less about Homestuck than I thought I did.
I think it's called a mate sprite, but
That
it's
is
like
still true.
a little
but-
a
ball.
meat
You-
Sprite? Oh, I hate that word.
a
That's
mate sprite. It's
worse. Mate
worse.
Sprite.
Mate, it's worse.
Oh, nice.
It gets worse.
Everything is bad. Everything about this is bad.
But you can put
I
things
like
in it,
that
and it'll
August is
become
learning Homestuck
characteristic.
lore, like against their will.
Yeah, everything I've learned about Homestuck has been against
Yeah.
my will.
Yeah.
Dave actually, this is the last last fun fact I'll bring up. Dave actually in one arc he died, and so he went back in time to stop himself from going down that path. But his
Right.
self that went back in time went into the mate sprite of Dave's game. So Dave is his own mate sprite mixed
What?
with like a bird that's been stabbed in
Wow.
the chest. So he's just this bird guy that has a sword in his chest that leads Dave on. It's incredible. He's
That's-
actually the first recording of Caw Caw motherfuckers.
My brain hurt a little bit.
I think I'm gonna have to cut that bit out of the episode. Otherwise, this episode becomes The Ring, and you have to spread it. Otherwise, you will die.
That's Homestuck, baby.
Yeah,
That's-
that sounds about right.
God. Okay, pestilence. End of this episode.
Pestilence.
He
Nasty
is
man.
so nasty.
Nasty
oh
mother
my
trucker.
god.
Jesus. That's what it felt like at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Genuinely
Disgusting.
working.
Oh my god. Everybody
like-
felt like they would walk in exactly like that.
Yeah,
Nasty.
him sneezing on the box. I was like, I would kill him right there.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
sorry,
actually-
sir.
Sneezing on the face?
On my face, I'll kill you.
Like you can't move away. I mean, I know you're fucking pestilence, and I know this
I
is your
mean,
whole
right,
shtick,
purposeful.
But like,
That
this
guy
is so
died,
gross to watch. I
sure.
don't want to watch it as a viewer. I do not want to
Mhm.
watch it, and
I don't want
And
to
I-
listen to it.
and I don't
Nope.
remember feeling differently. Like, I feel worse about it now, but I don't remember feeling great about it pre-pandemic.
Right.
Like,
right.
this is not a pandemic
I
thing.
remember watching this the first time years ago and being like, this is nasty. And if I saw this man in real life, I'd call the police. I'm not joking.
This is germ warfare. Literally, this is germ warfare. But
I would call
The CDC.
a missile strike on this man.
The way I would be like, you don't have to pay for jack shit. Goodbye.
I'd be like,
Take
actually,
that.
please
Yeah.
leave.
Anything
Yeah.
you've touched, take it. That's fine.
That's me at the bookstore, honestly. People sneeze twice, and I'm like, just go. Take your book and go.
You're like, it's fine.
Oh,
It's fine. Guess what? You got a free book. Please go
And it's
home
covered with
and
snot. You just water damaged it. Congratulations. Woohoo.
Please don't come back until you're better. And actually, maybe just don't come back. Oh, and yeah, that's gonna lead us into next week. I mean, that's the third horseman.
Yeah, it's a rowdy episode.
hunting him down. Here they go.
I cannot wait for you guys to listen to my song. I know, Theo, I think I've made you listen to it through the post-pandemic commune chat, but
Four Horsemen.
Oh, I
I'm
miss
gonna
you
have to
in
go
that
check
chat. I'm
that.
gonna listen to
It's
it
good.
as well.
It's a good one.
Next up, we are going to slide right into our going meta section, tracking lore, representation, behind the scenes trivia, and more. Today, we've kind of really talked about most of this already, so maybe we just do a little quick summary and point out the highlights.
Yeah, there's some interesting lore. There's a reference to, there's the reference to like the gods were used to have the planet ?
Yeah.
But that's going to kind of, I'm not going to say that's going to come up, but like we're going to get some conflicting information on this in the future. Unfucking clear. It did throw me to hear it because I was like, I'm pretty sure that lore is not correct based on later stuff. So pay attention. We'll keep paying attention, but it might be a little lost canon-y.
Okay. We talked about all the different gods and all the different religions that they are establishing have been real the whole time, but also somehow it's season 5 and we haven't interacted with them at all. But
we've interacted with some like lesser gods, kind of, but like this is
but
the
they
first.
didn't even give them a real name, you know? They were like, they're pagan
Right.
god.
I'm speaking as somebody who does not have a lot of leg to stand on here, but
From your lack of supernatural episodes much.
yeah, but there's something to be said for monsters from different like canons and different religious backgrounds and different like practices. And I'm just thinking of like the Wendigo episode.
Yes,
Right.
we have
really
had
early
quite a
on.
bit of that.
And how interesting it is to like suddenly introduce like, oh, the larger players are also real.
It's both like supernatural being like, ooh, we can play with different like mythologies and lore, but also not having really thought it through up till this point. They've just like, I feel like writers to this point have just sort of like pulled from a bit of everything, urban legend, mythology, different religions, a little bit haphazardly without figuring out like kind of the structure of the world and how this all works.
Yeah.
So sometimes it works and sometimes it really doesn't work.
I feel like they were like, oh, this could be like a monster of the week kind of monster, but it's gods who are like part of the making of the other monsters of the week. So it,
Yeah.
like
The proportions
obviously-
of power don't always.
right. And then they killed a lot of them, but then there's no mention of Cully after Sam and Dean get away with her. Nothing. There's no after, like at the end of
So
the episode where
interesting.
she like leaves. There's no at the end of the episode where she walks away from the like she's
has
just
a
gone.
little moment. They don't even say anything
Right.
to her where she's like,
And-
yeah, fuck off. I'm doing
Nothing.
my own
And
thing.
I am gonna just like, just say in terms of like lost canon, that is lost canon. She does not appear again.
Wow.
Yeah, she
That's
does not
so
appear again.
disappointing.
So
And that's not
fucked.
like really like if it was a big spoiler, I wouldn't say it, but like it's really basically irrelevant.
Yeah.
She specifically is not a returning player.
Wow. God damn.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of like I feel like this is a very lost canon-y sort of
They
episode.
could have even
And it didn't have to
taken
be.
this episode and accepted it and been like, okay, yeah, we made mistakes and we killed a bunch of those gods. But then not all the gods are there at that summit. Like
Right.
Odin's there, but Freya and Thor, a bunch of the other Norse gods aren't. Baldur is.
I'm not gonna say that we're not going to see like
Well,
mythical
no.
gods again.
Do they mention the deaths that happen in this episode?
I
Because that would be a super
don't-
interesting storyline to follow. Like the other gods seeking revenge on Lucifer.
Don't think so, but I don't remember for sure. We'll have to like pay attention because I
Don't
genuinely
remember.
don't remember. So I don't think they make a big deal out of it because I think I would remember that. But
Well,
Okay.
I also feel like it could be those were just vessels and the gods are still fine doing their thing elsewhere, not
that
in
would be an
human
interesting
vessels.
interpretation.
Because
Hmm.
like, it doesn't make sense that they would die die that easily.
Especially their special effects.
Right. Lucifer is powerful, but like it takes a special knife to kill an archangel. It takes specific things to kill specific things. I don't feel like they would have died that easily, even to Lucifer, if they were fully in their full forms.
Fair. Yeah.
I vibe with that heavy.
Yeah,
But
I think
like
that's actually
they
really
don't show
cool
up again,
innovation.
so who knows?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
that's kind of cool.
Got little avatars.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, I guess we will keep our eye on it. Dun, dun, dun. Moving on, we can slide into our final and favorite section of the episode, which is our character blessing. We take a character from the episode and we call them out for something specific that we liked that they did, or something we related in their portrayal. Theo, did you want to go first?
I can. I'm trying to decide between two because I really do like Dean describing that couple as joined at the lips. That was very iconic. But I think I want to give my blessing to Sam once again. Shout out to the younger siblings. But when they're like, we can summon Lucifer, and Sam's like, yeah, we just have to mess with, whatever on my rib. And Cully's like, breaking them would be easier. And Sam's like, gulp. And then like trying to come up with words by the time like Dean gets in or whatever. It's just so classic. Him being like, I don't know what to say to that.
You're
Him being
technically
not
right.
quick on his feet at all.
Not at all.
That's so good, though.
This is maybe not a helpful point, but I am very unclear still how and what, like how Lucifer was called.
I think
He just sort of showed up.
It
I
seems
think we're
like
all like, "We need to call
Balder.
Lucifer," and then he was
I
there.
think
I
it's
was
implied
lost.
that they prayed because like there seems to be some ability. Angels seem to be able to communicate with other angels through like prayer, and humans do. So maybe we're saying that gods can as well.
We've also seen people use, like a cup of blood and doing some spell
But that's
over it
mostly
to talk to
demons.
Lucifer. Yeah, demons
That's
and
true,
witches.
though.
Yeah.
That's true. These gods could have.
don't
They
know.
had humans.
Yeah, I had no idea.
It
I
doesn't
was
really
like,
say.
oh, I
don't
guess he's
think.
there.
Very good question, actually.
It's been bugging me this whole time. I was like, did I just miss the point where they were like, all right, we're gonna summon him now? They're
No,
like, we
it's
should
just
summon him. We
one-
should summon him, and then oh shit.
No, it was just like the one dude, Balder, who was like, I'm gonna just go pop off here and presumably pray / blood sacrifice /
Maybe-
something.
Maybe it was them being like, hey, Lucifer, we just killed Gabriel. Like, get over here. I don't know.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I will bless all of the people who escaped the motel, who just had the weirdest fucking experience of their life.
Yeah, no shit. Magic. Who are never ever going to trust the road signs to a random hotel again in their lives.
Never.
They're never
Never.
going to.
Never.
Absolutely not.
If it's not on the GPS, I don't want to hear about it.
Don't care how good it sounds or how cheap it is.
3.5 stars or better.
No, Sam says it's a 4-star hotel.
Yeah, he said 4 stars.
Oh,
so
So I'm not going to
Gotta
any
get
good hotels
gooder.
after this
Okay.
point.
Only
3.5
shitty
stars or
motels.
lower. August, how about you?
I would bless Gabriel. He stands up to his family and he tells Lucifer to suck it. And it's very satisfying to watch any character say to Mark Pellegrino, like, screw you.
Yeah.
You're terrible. It's just very satisfying.
big old bag
And
of dicks.
Yeah, it's just, and Gabriel's he's just a fun time, and I'm sad that
great.
he's gone because he's a fun time.
Yeah.
And I liked the way him and Dean would riff with their pop culture references,
Oh.
and I'm sad that we're not getting any more of that.
Well, I very much second that blessing, but I'm going to bless Dean this week because not only did Dean have to watch that happen to Gabriel, an angel that he would not say that he enjoys hanging out with, but he definitely does. He gets along with Gabriel for sure. But now he's talked Gabriel into doing something that resulted in his death. So Dean's definitely going to carry the weight of that for a little while. And I just want to wish him a good blessing for that.
Real.
Yeah, good blessing.
Yeah, all around.
Mm-hmm.
And just like that, it brings us right to the end of the episode. Whew. Thank you so much, guys. This was a blast. I love having you on anytime.
Yeah.
Love being
Feels-
on.
Feels so good to be back.
Yeah,
Honestly.
we will try and pick a good one for season 6. I got a couple ideas, so
Ones that provide plenty of fun discourse like this one.
yeah.
Talking about whether or not people are sexy in blood. It's fine.
That's not a question. It's yes.
Again, I
It's
think
not-
we
yeah.
agreed that one
Yeah.
was the easy
Unequivocally,
easy
yes.
answer.
That's
The
right.
gender of those people and your own orientation representation and whether or not those rules, that was up for a debate.
That's right.
So-
Right.
If you're listening, send us your opinions on that.
And pictures of people covered in blood. Thank
Oh,
you.
And
yeah, good
show us the evidence.
Prompt. Tweet us with pictures of people covered in blood images. Your
Preferably
favorite shows.
not homemade pictures.
Yes, preferably from a show.
Okay,
We're not
well, okay.
condoning kind of.
Not homemade with human blood.
We're
If
really
we see
getting in-
other... Hey,
Really getting in some deep waters with this
we
one,
just
huh?
really want to make sure we aren't promoting murder, okay? We just
Hey.
gotta
Yeah,
make
this
sure
one got
sometimes.
away from us really fast.
What Moira?
You start talking about people
Moira.
covered in blood, and it's like,
Moira,
whoa,
most foul.
slippery slope.
Looking for fictional examples here, just to make that extremely
Right.
explicit.
If you
Very
are at
fictional.
home and
Any
have
likeness.
any fictional representation of characters covered in blood that you love to send to us, pass them our way.
Also, preferably not spoilery for Noah.
Yes,
So not from
real.
later seasons. of
Maybe don't
Supernatural.
Tone it
us.
down.
Maybe any show except this one.
If
Oh,
you've
boy.
got a favorite character outside the supernatural verse that you like being covered in blood,
It's too much. It's too much now. Oh god.
Okay,
it
now we
makes
need
me
to get
feel-
off this before we are really derailed at the episode.
Where on the internet can people find you guys? Do you want to plug anything specific?
you can't find me, and you should.
The
I'm
correct.
an enigma.
Hannah has a thesis. Fuck off.
Yeah, get good.
It's not published yet.
But you
Uh,
have
when,
to
it, when it is the
August?
niche audience of your of the supernatural fandom is where you want to promote that.
Yeah, real. If anyone wants to read about underlying colonial values in the U.S. construction of speech language pathology, hit me up.
And it's
Amen.
great. It's, I mean, not,
It's so
not the
powerful.
topic, but the thesis. To be really clear, the work you've done in the research is good.
That impressive.
Yeah, I think August and I were talking about this a while back. I think they are the only person to have me on all social media platforms if we include Skype.
Damn.
Yeah, all
I
social
believe
media
that.
platforms, including ones that have been defunct since 2015.
Rabbit.
Yeah.
Skype.
Rabbit.
I still have
Fucking
Rabbit on my
Rabbit.
phone.
Oh my
Real.
god.
It won't
Hey, it's
open,
time
but I
to let
still have
go.
the app.
I appreciate that you are holding on.
Never let go.
Ted tweeted us if you used to use Rabbit. No, don't. We don't actually care. It's not interesting.
But we do care about sending pictures of people covered in blood. Please
Not
do
that
send
we
those.
moved
guys.
on.
Okay. Sorry, Theo. Do you have any of your animations anywhere online?
I don't have any animations online because none of them are finished, but there's
Okay.
about 10 started.
Perfect.
You can find me at art.gal.lurie on Instagram.
We will put it in the episode description.
Okay. It's a lot to say. It was really funny in theory when I was looking at it.
It
And then
reads better.
It reads better.
It does. It does. If you want to hear more of this show, you can subscribe to Save People Queering Things wherever you listen to your podcast. If you want to curse someone else with the knowledge of Supernatural
And
the
Homestuck.
podcasts and Homestuck, you can share the show with them.
We're not saying that if you don't share it, you might die, but we aren't not saying that, you know?
The reality is you're going to die eventually anyway.
So
why not
listen
share
to
it?
it with
Podcast.
the knowledge of Supernatural, the cursed show.
Also out now, Queering People Saving Throws. Our main crew, along with KJ of Supernatural Opinions, taking a dive into a queer D&D adventure, releasing every other Friday, right here on our feed.
You can find links to our social media and join our Discord server through our website, queeringthingspodcast.com.
Be sure to ride along with us next week as we explore Season 5, Episode 20, The Devil You Know.
Thank you all for coming along for the ride.
And we wish you a peaceful road until we meet again.